Good afternoon, everyone. It's Lupo here once again. Remember, in our last video, when we were discussing chapter 5, we highlighted that moving forward, we won't be discussing the entire chapter, but we will be focusing on certain sections of the chapter. For example, today, we will be dealing with the ethical considerations, uh, their importance in when you are conducting your study, and how do you go about ensuring that you comply with the ethical considerations as required by your ethical committee, your ethics committee within your university. So in today's episode or in today's session, we will be explaining each and every principle. Why is it important? How is it applied in your research? And then who are the gurus within that particular field, so that you are able to read more about each and every principle. So before we can start discussing the principles themselves, we need to firstly define what is ethical considerations, or what are ethical considerations. In simple terms, ethical considerations are the principles or guides that are used in research to uphold moral or social values. Why are they important in the research process? They ensure fairness, and they also instill confidence in the researcher. Where can you else read more about ethical consideration? You can read BOSS 2020. You can also read Mark 2025. One might ask themselves, why are we using it all there? Because we are sourcing or citing this source for the first time. It is because of the space. You can see I'm using a very small board. Therefore, I cannot write all the authors that worked in Mark with Mark in that particular year. You only use it all after you have mentioned for the first time all the authors that you have cited. Then going forward, you use it all, meaning which are others. Now we know whom are you referring to. So don't do this in your research. When you are citing the author for the first time, you use it all. Don't do that. You must mention all the authors that are involved in that particular journal. Then moving forward, you use it all. Having said all of that, our first principle or ethical consideration that we want to discuss with you guys today is ensuring that participants have given informed consent. What is the informed consent? It is to say, I voluntarily participate in this particular research, because participants must not be at any stage of research be coerced or tricked in participating in your study. How do you go about doing this? You develop a form written, or a form known as the informed consent form, that your participants will voluntarily sign as a way of giving consent to participate in the study. That particular form must provide in detail of what the study is about. For example, meaning which the title of the study, what is the purpose of this particular research? Is it an academic or a business research? What type of information will they be required to provide? How long, if it's interviews, how long will these interviews take? So all that information must be contained in that particular form, which is known as the consent form that your participants will sign. So here it is to ensure that the participants do give their informed consent in the form of signing a particular form, which would then be attached as an appendix or an extra in your research. So for you, if you want to read further about this particular principle, you can read Chauke 2018 and other authors as listed here, Alasa 2025 and Dane 1990. Okay, I hope we're moving together in this particular session. The second one, remember, it is not the prescribed. way of writing your ethical considerations. But in many cases, we use issues that are commonly used across universities. So we use them as an example in our sessions. The second one will be 1.2, ensuring no harm comes to your participants. You in this principle is to ensure that your participants are not exposed in any form of risk, be it psychological harm, physical harm, emotional harm. How do you prevent that from happening? You ensure that you explain to your participants what kind of questions will they be asked in terms of psychological harm. You don't ask questions which will be triggering, for example, past traumatic experiences, you understand, without informing your participants firstly. You understand? The element of surprise during the interview where they come across questions that are not sitting well with them. Or else, during the COVID 19, I like to use COVID 19 as an example because it traumatized many of us. During the COVID 19 pandemic, here you needed to make it a point that your participants do not travel long distances to participate in your study. In many cases, we end up using things like your Zoom meetings, Teams meetings for conducting interviews so that participants are in their comfortable environment. They are in their safe environment. You do not have to travel to participate in the study. So this principle is there to uphold that. Don't expose your participant in any form of risk, be it physical, emotional, psychological, etc. And then, if you want to read more about this principle, you can read Rice and McAlum 2025, Leonard 2022. Those are some of the gurus in these particular principles. I hope we understand each other. If you happen to have a question, don't forget to DM me or message or text me your question regarding these issues. I'll be happy to explain even further. But because of time, I am trying to summarize them so that when you are doing your ethical clearance, you are familiar of what is expected out of you, because ethical clearance needs to be submitted together with the proposal before you embark on the entire research journey. Having said all of that, the other one is ensuring confidentiality and anonymity of your participants. What does this mean? It means protecting the personal information of your participants. It must be clearly explained to, to your participants of what information will be required from them. I mean to say, if it happened that in your interview guide you happen to require, for example, the name of your participants, you must explain to them that it won't be published on the final research findings. It is for your record keeping, because that information, if it happens to be published, it puts your participants at risk, meaning which principle number two has not been covered in your study. So this, for example, it's this kind of information. It's normally contained on your research instrument. Hence, it's very important on your consent form to explain to your participant what kind of information will be required from them. So you need to protect the identity of your participants, protect their personal information. Because let me do an example of this. If your research instrument, which is your interview guide or your questionnaire, requires personal information of a participant, that participant may not freely express his or herself when answering the question because of the fear of being exposed. Let's say you are conducting your study within a particular organization and you are trying to understand the relationship, the employer and the employee relationship dynamics. You understand what I'm saying? So if you happen to ask for personal information of which will reveal who is this particular individual who was answering this question, participants may be, in many cases, be reluctant to participate in that study or even give you sufficient data for your study because you are exposing them now to harm. You are revealing their personal identity, which might affect their professional life. So it is very important that you protect you ensure confidentiality and anonymity so that whatever information that is contained in your research instrument does not put these individuals at risk. No personal information. I do not, as a reader, I do not need to know who answered this particular question. Remember, POPI Act in South Africa, which is the protection of personal information, does apply here. Then the last one, ensuring the permission is obtained. There are various permissions that are required from one to conduct a particular research. For example, you need to ensure that you get the ethical clearance from the institution. The second one, if you are conducting your study in a particular institution, you must get a permission letter from that particular institution that you are using as a case study before you conduct your study. It is very advisable because you cannot, your ethical clearance committee must grant you an ethical clearance certificate that your study does meet the minimum requirements or the requirements for it to be conducted together with the university or the institution that will be used in your study, be it a business or, or government department. They must grant you a permission to collect data within their institution so that whatever data you collect, it's within their policy framework. So that tomorrow, if you want to publish your study, you know that you are free to do so. Because, for example, for instance, some institutions do encourage academic researches, but they don't want to be mentioned in those particular studies. So, hence, it's important to obtain permission first so that the institution understand exactly, so that by the time you are about to collect data, you have access to the people whom are going to participate in your study, the potential participants. Or if you are collecting secondary data, when you require that data from the institution, you are able to get it because of that permission letter. If you fail to obtain these permissions from the university or from the ethical clearance committee or from the institution that is being investigated, it might be very difficult for you to collect data. And your study will not be examined or marked by the university if you don't have this kind of permissions. Because it is one of the most required uh, 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 processes that needs to be followed by one. So if you want to read more about this principle, you can consult Creswell 2014 years written extensively about obtaining of a permission letter when conducting a research. If there is any other factors of research or principles of research that you want us to discuss, drop them in my inbox. I will prepare a video for you and then we go through them together. See you in our next section. Thank you very much.